welcome to the second instalment of the Bosch Professional Live UK. Sorry a little bit late, we just had to get a few things set up. I'm Chris, I'm one of the Professional Power Tool Training Managers here in Denham, and I'm joined with two of my colleagues today. First off, Danny.
Hello there.
And we've got Lawrence here from our marketing team.
Hello, hello, hello.
Okay, so what are we going to be talking about today? Well, we're going to be talking about SDS hammers, specifically SDS PLUS hammers. Now, we've got quite a reputation with SDS hammers, over 95 years worth of experience when it comes to Bosch hammers. So I guess, how should we start? We probably want to explain, you know, what's an SDS hammer?
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So the first thing we'll do is I'll grab an older machine. I've got an example here. Well, it's an older machine, it's not old, it's in the range. We've got it here, a GBH, it's a professional Bosch hammer. It's a 220D, okay? It's roughly a 2 kilo machine, and the 20 stands for the fact that it will drill up to about 20 millimeters in masonry. Now, Lawrence, what kind of things do we use SDS drills for?
I mean, predominantly it's for drilling fixing holes, right? For anchor points, so that you can mount stuff. But yeah, making holes in concrete is what an SDS Plus is ultimately for.
So you guys are probably all very familiar with what an SDS drill does. For those who are not familiar, obviously we have things like rotary drills and impact drills, such as a combi. Now those machines are excellent at drilling holes in things like wood and lighter materials such as red bricks and things like that. When you're starting to work with harder materials, especially things like concrete, you really need to step it up. Right, a combi drill works with an impact mechanism, or a percussion system. An SDS system is completely different. So Danny, if you'd like to just explain the difference in how an SDS mechanism works.
Yep, I've got a little demo piece here, so if we can come in on that for a second. I've basically, this shows the impact mechanism for an SDS hammer. So you have a piston, a hammer tube, and a striker. So when the motor's rotating, you've got an air gap between the two. So there's these rubber O-rings in here provide airtight seals and fires the striker up and down the hammer tube there. This in turn hits a striker pin on the end of the hammer pipe, and in turn hits the back end of the drill bit. So that's what provides you the increased force of an SDS hammer over and above a percussion type.
That's right. So impact drills, so combi drills, right? They're typically, you're going to see the value of BPM. Okay, that's beats per minute. That's how these machines work. They're rapid, and they make small but rapid indentations in the materials, chipping away at the material. That's why it's perfect for softer materials like bricks. But when it comes to a hard material like concrete, you know, it just doesn't have enough power. Instead, we're using a pneumatic system, and we're driving really powerful hits. And now we're measuring that energy in things called joules. Okay, when it comes to our 2 kilo hammers and above, we're looking at 1 joule, well, in fact, up to just nearly 6 joules of impact energy when we get to one of our larger BITURBO machines. Okay, so let's have a quick look at this example. Okay, so obviously you can see here that the SDS chuck system here, and we use an SDS bit. Okay, so SDS was actually a Bosch invention in 1968, and we needed a system. We needed a quick attachment system to allow us to both attach accessories into the machine, but also we need to have the ability for the bit to move, because as Danny's pointed out, there's the hammer and the striker, which is hitting the back of the accessory to deliver the energy into the material to break it. It has to have that level of movement, right? Quick release system, it's toolless. I'll change to a drill bit here, and there you go. And you see it's easy in and out, and there's your motion. That's standard for SDS, right? And we invented that in 1968. Changing up to SDS Max, a completely different system that we'll talk about in a later live stream, in 1978. So this machine, okay, you've probably seen this design. It's very well established. Loads of SDS hammers look like this. Okay, with the exception of the SDS Plus chuck, you'll see there's a mode wheel in it. Okay, put it on the close-up. Let's get that in focus. Okay, and what you've got here is you've got your drill mode. Okay, that's if you only want to use rotary. Change it into this mode here. This is the typical mode that you guys will be running in. Okay, this is rotary and hammer. That's where you get the name for a rotary SDS hammer. We've got this mode here, which is a neutral, which makes relevance to this final setting, which is a chisel function. So Lawrence, I'm going to hand over to you for a second to talk to us about chiseling functions.
Sure, okay. So the great thing about that function there with our SDS Plus is that by putting it into neutral, you can set the chisel at exactly the angle you want for whatever the task. So as you can see there that it's rotating. As soon as it's in the position that I want it in for the application, I'll switch it to here, it locks, and then I can approach the application, whether it's taking off tiles or chasing or just breaking up material with one of these, breaking up some hard material. Probably less relevant, but yeah, when you're actually using the chisel and you've got a flat chisel bit there, it's much greater flexibility, and ultimately that means you can work more comfortably.
So as Danny and I explained in the last live stream, honestly, one of the most important things you need to do is make sure that you're comfortable before you start work. Not only does it reduce fatigue, but anyway, who wants to be working in uncomfortable situations, especially if you're working with heavy materials and heavy tools, right? So, simple function, but it shouldn't be taken for granted. Okay, so look, this is a standard like 2 kilo equivalent hammer, it's corded, okay? If Danny's got an example of an absolute fan favorite, which was our 4 kilos, the GBH 432 DFR. Okay, Danny?
There you go. So as opposed to the pistol type drill they had before there, this has got an underslung motor to it. Similar functionality. We've got the mode wheel at the top there, so you've got drill, you've got drill hammer on both sides here, so the wheel goes all the way around. Neutral either side, and also chisel function there as well. So exactly the same application as the pistol type one, the 2 kilo, but we're dealing with 4 kilos now. So this is a heftier machine. Forward reverse function is just on the bottom there.
So it's a bigger machine, and again, when we're talking about SDS hammers, one of the most important things we'll be looking at, well, two main things we're looking at, is impact or pneumatic power energy, so joules. So this machine is bigger, so it delivers up to 4.2 joules of energy, and also it's about the size of the hole. And obviously that's the most important thing when you guys are working. You want to know how big a hole can I drill, and obviously the 432 is much bigger. It will drill up to 32 millimeters in masonry and concrete. So bigger tool, the better.
Yeah.
But look guys, we don't want to be sitting here talking about our corded range. We really want to talk about obviously the 18-volt machines we've got out there. Let's start with our compact series. So this is the GBH 18VLI compact.
Yep.
Okay. So it's a much smaller machine, as you can see. It's lighter. So as please Danny, let us know.
Well, this provides 1 joule of impact energy, so a serious reduction over the corded ones that we've shown you so far, but sitting comfortably at the bottom of the range. We have on here just the hammer function and the rotary function, so there's no chisel function on this machine, but it's just an entry level light duty SDS hammer.
So a light machine for like overhead.
Overhead, yeah, 6 mil holes into concrete. Again, anchor points. If you're working constantly like this, you know, and you're sticking in cable trays and overhead bits and pieces, it's ideal because the lightweight nature means less fatigue. So don't be fooled. Yes, it's not got the power of some of the bigger drills, but for those key little 6 mil fixing points, it's great.
Yep, 6 mil standard, but even though it looks small, it will still do up to 12 millimeter in masonry. So despite it looking small, it's still a good machine. But let's have a look at another machine. Let's have a look at one of the machines that's been a fan favorite for a very long time. Now, we've had it for such a long time. Unfortunately, you know, we're having to phase this one out, but don't worry, because we've obviously replaced it with a lot of newer machines. Now, this machine's been out for many a year. It's the GBH 18V EC, okay, so we called it EC because actually it's one of the older machines, and it's before we used to call brushless machines brushless. We used to call them EC for electrically commutated, which basically means the same thing. So we've had this almost in the range for the entirety that we've had an 18-volt system.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay, so it's roughly around 2 kilos.
Yep.
And it's about 1.7 joules. It's got a compact shape. It's not quite as light as the compact, but it's not far off it. And many people actually just bought this instead because it was still an acceptable weight for drilling overhead and using for your general applications. It will do 4 to 18 millimeters in masonry. Excellent tool, and more importantly, it's got all 4 functions. So it's a full SDS rotary hammer with chisel and the variable adjustment feature. Okay. Again, we don't want to spend too long talking about this machine. It's in the market.
It is.
Right, but it is one that we are obviously phasing out and replacing with a number of newer tools. So the next one we'd like to have a look at, which is still perfectly happy and perfectly in the range, is our entry-level rotary hammer, the GBH 18V-21. Okay, as you can see in the name, it's 18 volt, slightly bigger. It's got 21, which basically means it drills up to a maximum capacity of 21 millimeters in masonry. Okay, it's got all 4 function modes, cracking bit of kit. It's also brushless. We made it sure, big stick on the bottom saying it is brushless. Excellent machine. I don't know, what else should we say about this machine?
2 joules.
That's right.
So it's a 2 kilo hammer with 2 joules of impact energy. It's an everyday workhorse SDS Plus. It's a very, very good tool. It replaces our older brushed model, the V20, which was probably our most popular in the range. So yeah, if you haven't seen it or had a chance to have a go on one yet, then get your hands on one and give it a try, because it really is a great all-rounder.
Cool. Okay. So let's have a look at probably one of my favourite machines within the normal 18 volt range. We are going to have a look at some BITURBO machines, but obviously let's have a look at the standard 18 volt. Let's have a look at the GBH 18V-26, both the F and the non-F variant.
Right. There we have the 1826F, sorry, the 1826 and the 1826F. The main difference between these two machines being the removable chuck. This has a removable SDS chuck. You can also change that out for a standard 3-jaw chuck. However, with the 3-jaw chuck, no impact, so it's just rotary drilling for that. So that pops on fairly straightforward there. We've got the same dial function on here. You've got the hammer action, you've got the hammer drilling action with the neutral, which it's currently in at the moment, and straight drilling there. So you'd use that setting mainly with the 3-jaw chuck. You can also use it with the SDS bits, but yeah. Forward reverse is now on the top. Again, yeah, cracking little machine. This is a big seller, I think.
Yeah,
brushless.
There's a feature on the back, so it's got something called EPC. Okay, so please. Well, shall I can explain.
You talked yourself into that one.
Yeah, that one's yours.
Well, we used to call it electronic precision control. Essentially, it's a type of soft start. So I don't know whether or not you need to tweak the microphone down a little bit. I'm just going to set the drill off a little bit. So we can set it here. I'll just flick it from, see that? Can you see on the back of there? It's got a mode which is 100%. Flick it up to 70%. So what you're going to have is a slow start up to a maximum of 70%. Why would you want that mode? Well, if you're working in concrete and you don't want to skit across the material, you might want to start on a soft start and it automatically ease in the power. Once you've got into the concrete, then you can flick it down to full 100%.
Gives you a far cleaner start to a hole.
So let me just start up so you can hear it. So as you can see, it will slowly ramp up to about 70% of RPM, and then you can manually flick it onto 100% and then finish off the hole that you're drilling. A nice feature. I don't know if you already mentioned the fact that it's got the anti-vibration D-handle.
No, it's got an anti-vibration D-handle, as you just mentioned. So you can see on the back here, you can push the back of the machine. That gives you an extra element of detachment from the machine whilst you're operating it. So you're getting less vibration back through your arms, causing potential issues later on.
Now, kickback control.
Yes.
So obviously this is the first machine in the range that has kickback control. Obviously we've talked about it extensively in some of our videos in regards to combis and other drill drivers. That's pretty much standard. But again, I'll put it on 100%. Okay, finger still on the trigger. Why is that important, Lawrence?
To save you from a potential broken wrist or more serious injury. As we know, if the machine binds up midway through the drilling and you're not expecting it, it'll snap round and that can cause a serious injury. So that's what kickback control prevents. It's there to keep everyone safer. Yeah.
So what's inside the machine, there's a small module, it's an accelerometer. It's very similar to the mechanism in your phone that allows you to shift from portrait to landscape. It detects a movement, because obviously this kind of movement is not going to be typical if you're drilling correctly or you're not having any trouble. The machine detects that there's an unexpected acceleration and it automatically switches off the machine and makes sure that it reduces the chance of that machine spinning out of control and causing an injury. Okay, so
there's another feature on it actually as well. The ability to fit the dust extractor.
I nearly skipped past that. Yes. Well, I was going to talk about some of the specs. So obviously, it's a bigger machine. Okay, as it's in the name, it has 18V-26, so it's up to now 26 millimeters drilling capacity in masonry. It's got a lot more punching power. You can see from the design, it's a more modern machine. It's got up to 2.6 joules of impact energy. So that's a lot of energy, plenty. In fact, it's starting to really encroach upon the older 36-volt machines we used to have in regards to power in a much smaller package with a much more compact battery. So, as Danny pointed out correctly, there's something special about this machine, and it's the ability to add an integrated dust extraction filter. So, we refer to this one as the GDE. This is the GDE-18V-16. I'll let you do it, Danny. You can see.
There you go, just on the front here, just hiding away in these couple of slots here. I don't know whether you can see it there, but there's a couple of electrical contacts. So, once you fit on the extractor, the GDE, if I can, there you go. They engage with the power source in the drill, so it's taking the energy from the battery here, so no additional battery. So when you fire it up, the extractor starts up and then extracts the dust from the hole you're drilling at the point of creation. So if I give it a quick, there you go. You can hear the vacuum run there, and that's drawing the dust down into the dust canister underneath here. So you've got a good solution for dust management, which is really easy to fit.
Yeah, very convenient, on board. You don't have to worry about a separate power supply. The actual maximum drilling diameter, because you can change these bits, will go up to about 16 millimeter. So 16 millimeter diameter drill bits, and the travel is, I believe, 100 millimeters. Yeah, 100 millimeters travel. So you can run up 16 mil drill bits up to 10 centimeters. So plenty. The filter inside is a HEPA filter. Okay, so that will stop about 99% of particulates and things like allergens and stuff like that. But you know, it's not a rated dust extraction unit, but it's an excellent dust management and dust collector. So if you're wanting to keep a site clean, especially if you're working in residential areas, and you will save on the cleanup, because it just collects the dust at source without the need of an external LEV or dust extraction unit. Okay, so
that fits both the 26 and the 26F. They both have exactly the same interface system.
Okay, so I'm going to quickly jump in and see whether or not I can see some questions in the chat. So just give me 1 second, guys. So we've got quite a few. We've got someone who's, unfortunately, I'm so disappointed. Purchased the GBH 18V-20 only to realise the newer Brush 21 has taken its place in certain stores. Well, don't worry. The GBH 18V-20 is a good tool.
It's a great drill. Yeah.
Right, don't get us wrong. The 21 is an incremental increase in better quality machine, but you shouldn't feel disappointed about having the 20. It's an excellent tool. It will do the job you need it. Right? You're only going to get a little bit more performance with the 21. Obviously, you might get a bit more battery efficiency, but look, we're one of the best in the market for batteries. Right? You're going to get plenty of runtime. You're going to get plenty of performance out of that 20. Okay, let's have a look. How does the 18-volt battery power compare to DeWalt's 54-volt? Well, it's a different voltage system.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Danny, or
the issue with the higher voltage ones, obviously you're limiting the amp hours in the battery, so you're cutting down a 9 amp hour battery down to a 3 amp hour battery when you switch it to the 54 mode. So you are going to get a reduced run time with the 54-volt platform.
Yeah, listen,
above the 18.
Yeah, I mean, we're not really here to talk too much about our competitors. DeWalt make a good system. However, we're talking about standard 18-volt machines here. If we want to start talking about comparing our system with DeWalt, then really we want to be talking about our ProCORE and our BITURBO system. So when we get to that machine, we'll talk about our offering when it comes to high performance 18-volt STS rotary hammers. Okay. So, and with steady use, would you get a whole day out of an 18-volt battery? I'll say probably no. It depends on what you're doing, of course.
It depends entirely on how many times you pull the trigger.
Yeah, you couldn't run the machine all day. Obviously, there's laws and there's physics involved here. Yeah. You get a lot of holes out of one of these machines. Chiseling the same, but it all depends on what battery you're using, what material you're working in. Is it reinforced concrete?
Hole, diameter, depth of hole.
Ambient temperature. I mean, there's so many different variables.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, we've got plenty of options for you. We've got the 18-volt system, fully backwards and forwards compatible across our whole system. We've got the original compact batteries that would run on here. Not that I'd recommend running a compact battery on an SDS hammer, from 1.5 amp hour all the way up to 6 amp hour for our traditional compact batteries. but I'll do an example here. If you really wanted to,
Got that one? Yeah. There you go.
take one of our BITURBO, sorry, not BITURBO, our ProCORE 18V batteries, 12 amp hour. You know, that's a lot of runtime.
Yep. Bigger
Okay.
fuel tank, right?
Okay, so even though it's not a BITURBO machine, the ProCORE battery will fit on it, and you'll get a lot of runtime. You might even get just a little bit more performance out of the cells. So it's an excellent choice. Okay. So Andy asking for loyalty points when buying your gear. Well, not officially yet. However, we do have a few great offers out there. Things like Pro Deals. I don't actually know what the Pro Deals is this time, Lawrence. I don't know if you know.
Not off the top of my head, you put me on the spot there.
Sorry, then.
Right, sorry, no, but there are Pro Deals available, so essentially freebies given away with purchases at a certain level and above. But yeah, it's a good suggestion. Do you know what? It is a great suggestion, and we are looking to constantly improve our service to our end users and our customers. So all suggestions are welcome, and if it's not something we're doing now, then there's no reason why we can't look into it in the future and figure something out. But we do have the Pro 360 app, don't we? Which we encourage interaction through with us. If you wanted to.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, obviously, look, Pro 360. That's the mechanism in which you can register your products when you purchase them to extend the warranty from the standard 1 year manufacturer's warranty up to the 3-year battery charger and tool extended warranty. And through that platform, it's an app that you can download on your smartphone for Android and Apple devices. That would be the kind of place that we would, if we were to launch some kind of loyalty scheme, it would probably happen on there. But it's a bit early days, but you know, don't get us wrong, we have been looking at something like that because look, we really want to reward you guys for staying loyal to the brand because we really appreciate you guys, you know, picking us, okay? And obviously we like all the extra feedback you guys give us, so we definitely want to reward that without a doubt. Okay. Okay, that's the questions done. So let's move on to some other machines.
What about this one? We forgot about this. This is a 26 as well.
Oh, it's another 26.
Look at it. So this is in addition to the 26 and the 26F, we also have the 26D. So this is a D-shaped or a D-handle shaped drill. So it's slightly less popular in the UK, but it is ideal for downwards drilling because of where the weight sits, and also you can see straight down to exactly where you're drilling, so you can make some very accurate, you can drill downwards very accurately with this tool because it's got good sight. As you can see, it's also got the onboard dust extraction option available, this time with a powered extractor on the front there, but the weight is still nice and light for this machine, and it's a 2.6 joule hammer.
Yeah.
And there's nothing. Yeah, that's all I've got to say about that. I just jumped in all enthusiastic there, didn't I? And got carried away with myself.
Yeah.
I should really let the professionals handle this sort of thing.
Well, no, as Lawrence has pointed out, you can purchase it on its own, okay? And this actual dust extraction unit, it's an optional extra. It's compatible with a number of our corded machines, like most of the 2 kilo machines, like the 220D that I showed you at the beginning. It allows you to put on board dust extraction, right? Without having to worry about having to have mechanical contacts, because as you say, it's powered by the battery. The dust extractor itself works very similar to the one we saw on the 26. So it's very similar to the GDE 16. It's got a maximum travel again of 100 millimeters, and it's got a number of different apertures here, going up to a maximum of 26 mil. So again, plenty of options for you guys drilling and managing the dust on site. Okay, so let's have a look at another machine. Very similar actually, and a new one. So this is the one you want to talk about really, Lawrence.
Yeah, but I just thought that was a good segue into this. So, bigger brothers of the 26 and brand new to our range is the GBH 18V-28 DC. So my favourite thing about this hammer is that it is a standard 18 volt platform product, okay, so it runs off the Coolpack batteries that we all know and love, but it's a 3.4 joule machine, which makes it pretty punchy and actually a really, really strong performer versus the rest of the market for a hammer of this size, this weight, this class. But what else do we know about it, guys?
Well, it's got a dust extraction unit as well, so not a dust extractor, a dust collector.
Yep.
It's different to the ones we've seen before. So the last two we've seen are active. They run on either the integrated power of the machine, so it might use, like for the GBH 18V-26, it will use the actual tool battery, or like the other one we just saw with the other D-handle machine, that it uses an external battery to run just the extractor. This is passive, okay? So if I take it off, okay, there's no batteries connected to it. Instead, what it's doing is using the the vacuum or the negative pressure from the motor to pull the dust through the extractor and through a HEPA filter. So again, you don't have to worry about running an external battery system. You don't have to actually worry about the dust extractor like using any of the actual battery capacity. It's all being done as part of the normal operation of the tool. And actually, it's a surprisingly efficient system. Now, we've tested this many times in the office and outside doing some concrete drilling tests. Really, really good, really clean. Much better than some of the previous systems that we've seen in the past. So a massive improvement. One little feature that I really like.
Oh yeah, a little clicker.
There you go. You can see it working there. You've got a little clicker that helps. We haven't had that on the previous version, so unfortunately you'd have to disassemble to give the filter a quick clean. Here, you don't even have to take it off. You can just rotate the knob and it will give the filter a little clean.
A little thump.
Yep, that's all it does.
Just like the bigger M-class machines.
Okay, so so the specs of the dust extraction unit. Okay, so again, it's about the aperture size. We've got a number of these. It'll go up to a maximum of 28 mils, and then the extension, I believe. Let's have a look. Yeah, 100 mil again. So that's our standard extension there. So you can go up to 28 mil, 100 mil in length drill bits. Plenty for the average use, especially if you're working overhead and stuff like that. These dust management systems make it a lot better, a lot easier to use. Yeah. Okay. You mentioned that it's got kickback control.
I haven't.
It's kickback control. You can see on the top here. We like to advertise all our technological goodness. It's got kickback control and it's also got vibration control.
Yeah, I mean when we use this drill here at Bosch HQ, okay, the first thing that we noticed was really the vibration control on the machine is fantastic. It's a really, really smooth machine to use. A lot less vibration than we were expecting, I guess, from a machine that is this powerful. So again, it's all about the feel when you actually pick up and use this drill. It's impressive from that perspective.
Usually, the anti-vibration is negative with a machine with the motor in line with the trigger, but on this machine, you don't have that issue.
Yeah. So as an example, this is the other D-handle machine that Lawrence is very excited to talk about. We're looking at about an average vibration of about 15 meters per second squared. This one is down to 10. So the internal mechanism, the vibration reduction systems really helps allow you to get a lot more trigger time with the newer tools. Okay, and don't get me wrong, 15 is not bad, but 10 much better. Okay, so we're getting along quite well. Should we have a look for some more questions and see if you've got any? Just quickly jump on. Right, we've got some good questions here. Well, we're going to come to asking about some of the new tools that aren't to do with the SDS machines later, so we'll log them. So we've got a few talking about different machines. Consider fitting GPS systems to your tools. So this is about tool theft. Now, we've had a lot of conversations about connectivity, okay, and probably a good opportunity at this stage to say, look, Bosch connectivity, which some of these machines have.
This one, connected drill.
But but these aren't really anti-theft devices. These are things for doing a number of other things, like changing the settings of the machines. It's good for things like inventory management, so you can log these tools into the app, the Toolbox app. But but these aren't for theft protection. Is that correct?
Correct. At the moment, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Let's have a look. So they have Bluetooth tech, but it's not GPS. Just to clarify that. Okay, in the US, they are showing a mini dust extraction shoe to be added to the standard vacuum. We'll be getting that in the UK. I wonder if you're talking about the GDE68, or was that something else they're talking about?
Dust extraction shoe.
Give us, add to it, Jonathan, add a bit more information so we know what we're talking about, and we'll try and answer that one. We will talk about some dust extraction shortly, and maybe we'll be able to double check what you mean by that, Jonathan. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's punch back in. So where are we going to go next? Well, really, there's only one place we can really go, right? And we're going to go to our BITURBO range. Okay, so this is our BITURBO brushless, so our most powerful SDS Plus rotary hammer in the range.
Yep.
There it is. I'll pass it to you, Lawrence.
Thank you very much. Okay, so this is the GBH 18V-34CF. It is a 5.7 joule SDS Plus hammer. It's part of the new BITURBO platform. Okay, so BITURBO brushless means bigger motors, bigger magnets, and therefore more power generated. It's run, or rather optimally run, on the ProCORE battery system. So anything from the ProCORE 5.5 and above, which gives us the maximum drawable output of these batteries. Really needed to hit the optimum power levels of this drill. It is our top of the range cordless SDS Plus currently. It's packed full of sensor features which ultimately leads to safer use. It has the kickback control, it has the soft start as well, and it's also got on the back here what we call the human-machine interface, okay, which gives the user life status, a visual tool if you like. At a quick glance you can see if the tool's happy, if it's in green, if the lights switch to amber, then the tool is trying to tell you that it's overheating or that something is about to happen which may cause the tool to shut down. And if it goes red, it's indicating that yes, the tool has probably stopped, but it's okay. The tool knows that it was going to stop, and it's actually protecting itself and waiting for you to either stop, disconnect, or reset before beginning the application again. What else do we know about this drill, guys? I've run out of words.
Well, the CF at the end refers to the connected features on it. So we've got a GCY module in there for the Bluetooth connection with your mobile device. And as we did with the other machine, the F stands for the removable chuck. So the chuck comes off here, and it also comes with a 30mm, I believe, 3-jaw ROM chuck. There you go.
There we go. Fit on it.
There you go, so that can pop on in place there. Again, that isolates the hammer function, so this is just for straight drilling with straight shank drill bits. So drilling into wood, metal, you name it.
Yep.
It gives you an extra element of usefulness for the machine.
Yeah. So yeah, max drilling up to 32mm. It's obviously got optimum range of just under 30mm in concrete. So excellent for doing much bigger drill bits. And obviously we've got an arranged number of drill bits. I mean, this, for example, looks massive. It's only 25mm, so this machine will do much bigger than that.
So it kind of treads between being an SDS Plus and an SDS Max in many respects in terms of power output and kind of the drilling diameter, the optimal drilling diameter range, which just opens up your, if you've got a lot of SDS Plus drill bits in different sizes, then obviously this is the one for you.
Okay, yeah, so and you mentioned kickback control, all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
kickback control.
It's an excellent tool. I mean, and again, because it's got some vibration reduction mechanisms in it, obviously the decouple D-handle, it's also got an active counterweight system. That reduces the vibration down to about 10 meters per meter squared per second. And that's, that's for such a large machine, such a hard hitting machine. Remember, it's 5.8 joules of impact energy. It's doing, that's a machine that you can use a lot of trigger time. It's a really comfortable machine. It's solid. Right, it's not a lightweight machine, but you guys know if you're trying to deliver that much power to weight ratio, this is an excellent tool. Yeah. You mentioned about batteries again. Obviously, it's fully backwards compatible with the whole 18-volt range. You could run your traditional cool pack battery or the ProCORE18V. But again, guys, if you really want to get the maximum power, you want to be running the dual layer, the 5.5, the 8, and the 12 amp hour ProCORE batteries. Yeah. Okay. Right. Should we talk a little bit about some other dust extractions? Because obviously there's no dust extraction mount here. I can't see how we would fit it. Now the most obvious one, we've got a couple of options. We've got some accessory options. We've got one like this. So this is an SDS speed click bit. I'll get that into a shot. Okay. So what we've got here is a drill bit. It's a hollow drill bit essentially. And what you've got these little holes here. So this would really help in removing, again, dust from source. You would attach this end here to a dust extractor, one of our gas 35s, 55s, M-class dust extractor. I think we've got an example of, we've got the hose down there?
We do, but I don't have the end for it.
Oh, we have the friction fit. It's simple, it would just be a friction fit you push into there, and then you'd be able to run that directly into your dust extractor as now a hood, a hose, and an extractor, so you've now got a lever system.
The key with this item as well is here, it's not going to reduce all of the chippings that come away from the material. This is to remove the silica, which is the bad stuff, the stuff that's going to give you lung problems later on in life.
Exactly. Now, one of the benefits of this system is the fact that if you are preparing concrete for anchor points, you guys who are in the know, you've got to clean that. You've got to clean that hole before you can start putting in the anchor and the resin and stuff. One of the advantages of your speed click system is the fact that you don't have to worry about that because nearly all of it's going to be done as you're drilling. Yeah. So it really helps clean up that prep thing and also make sure that you're removing that harmful silica dust at source. Now, that's a bit specialist, okay? So what we've got is a more universal system. It's not, you guys probably already know it, but look, we're talking about a hood system like the GDE 68, okay? So what we got here is a system that you would adhere it to the wall using the vacuum. So when you've got the hose there down, so you can see it's got a click and clean system. So you can just clip our normal dust extraction hose into it.
Pop it in there.
Okay,
There you go.
and what you would do is you would just pop that onto the wall or the ground or wherever you need to put it, pop the accessory through, you do the drilling that you need to do, and all the dust that's generated is going to be pulled out through the hood and into the dust extractor. Again, if you're doing things like doing vertical drilling to anchors, right, if you're going to clean it with the brush and whatever, you can leave this in situ while you're cleaning, right? So you don't have to worry about all that stuff coming out. It's all going to be taken away there and cleaned up without having to move this device.
This, in fact, used in conjunction with the speed clean would be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, you probably have absolutely no cleanup after.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those two things combined. One of the most important, one thing you might want to remember, if you're running one of our gas extractors, especially one that has automatic filter cleaning, AFC, you will have to switch that off.
Switch it off, yeah.
Because obviously you don't want the AFC kicking in and interrupting the flow, because then unfortunately your GDE will fall off the wall. So don't get embarrassed on the site. Remember to switch that feature off. Okay, so that's general dust extraction. Obviously, we do a larger one of these for like core drilling. We didn't bring an example here because it's not really the kind of application you might be doing with your SDS Plus hammers. But if you want to go bigger, we do have a bigger dust extraction system as well to support that. Right. So should we have a look for questions, or are we okay? Should we look at questions? Okay.
I should pop that off.
All right. What have we got? Oh, okay, here we go. Do you lose the warranty if you open the machines up to put Apple AirTags in? Well, or any other kind of tracking device?
Yes, unfortunately, yeah. It'll be classed as opened by an unauthorised person, unfortunately. So yes, great idea. I mean, in theory, brilliant idea. But unfortunately, that would invalidate the warranty.
Okay, yep. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, another question for Atlantis. Should I apply oil to the drill bit shank every time I switch out?
Any lubrication is good practice. Stop laughing. The actual machine comes with a small tube of grease, white lithium grease, I believe, to lubricate the tool holder. But in turn, every time you change the SDS bit, it's going to lubricate.
Well, it's a moving part.
Yep.
Obviously, when you're using these, normally you're going to generate a lot of dust, regardless of how well you try and keep it clean. You want to clean. You want to maintain the device. You want to obviously re-oil as much as you can. So it's just good practice to keep the machine well maintained. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to use this on a daily basis, I'd seriously look into having it serviced once in a while. We recommend every year or so, but you'll find the O-rings that we discussed before on the striker pin and on the piston, they do wear down after time. So a grease change and a replacement set of O-rings will completely change the machine again, back to factory basically. So yeah, it's a good idea to keep an eye on it. If the efficiency of the machine does drop, I would probably imagine that's going to be the reason for it.
Got it. Understood. That makes sense.
Yeah.
We've got a reply from Jonathan Rose talking about this dust extractor. Now, I'm not familiar with it. We might have to take this one way to check it. He says the dust extractor was called the Blue Collar. So this might be an American term.
Yeah.
So it looks like it's come up a blank for us, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist, obviously. What we'll do is we'll have a look at that, maybe answer your questions in the chat after the live stream. It'll be good to know. I mean, obviously there are different standards, and there's some other products in some regions that we don't see, or is not relevant to us in the UK market, but we can definitely have a look at that and see what we've got.
Certainly.
Right, so I mean, we'll talk about a few more things, but here's your chance to get some final questions in. What we really wanted to have Lawrence here for is we want to talk about some of the new products that we don't have out on display here. I know there's a number of hammers within like roughly the 18V-26ish range. Is it 22 and 24?
That's right. We're going to be plugging some spaces in between the V21, the V26, and the V28 as well, which we have touched on. So yeah, watch this space. We will shortly be announcing publishing details of the all-new GBH 18V-24C. Okay, so that's going to sit somewhere between the 21 and the 26. It's going to be a lightweight, compact hammer, but it's going to have kickback control. It's going to have more safety features than you find on the V21, and it's also going to be a pretty good puncher in terms of joule output and power for its weight class. So that's coming soon. In addition to that, the V28, which we showed you, that's not it. The V28 with the D handle, which we showed you earlier. Thank you very much. essentially all of the insides, all the mechanics of this SDS Plus are going to be put into a pistol grip body. Okay, so the more popular style of SDS Plus here in the UK. So you'll be getting all the same performance features, safety features, the kickback control as well, but from the shape of SDS Plus that we all know and love. So that's coming fairly soon also. And then beyond that, of course, we are always looking and innovating and putting our R&D funds into improving our cordless SDS hammer range. We won't talk about the Max hammers today, we'll save that for another time, but there's some exciting news there as well. And that's it from me, really.
Yeah, so obviously we want to start to wrap up this live stream. We're going to have a look and see if there's any more final questions. Obviously, we would like to know what you would want us to talk about next time. I mean, obviously, that's a pretty good segue. Next time, probably maybe we'll look at the SDS Max range, because we've got a lot of those products. So looking at the GBH SDS Maxes, as well as maybe perhaps the GSHs. So there are our chisels and our big breakers. That might be worth talking about too. Completely depends on what you want to talk about. Obviously, personally, I'd love to talk about the other BITURBO machines we've got in the range, such as the GBH 18V-36 and obviously the 45, and maybe the sneak peek, the 40.
We could do that.
Exactly. So there's plenty of other topics we can talk about. Again, let's have a look and see whether or not maybe we can do it for maybe the 20th of July. We'll obviously confirm that in social media, but that might be a good time. Maybe Lawrence, you can join us again. Okay?
I hope so, yeah.
So I think that might be the end of the live stream, I'm afraid, guys. I don't think we've got any additional questions. Again, we'll cover some more products. Maybe we'll get some more accessories in the live stream next time. Get some more questions about maybe what kind of applications you use your machines for. But again, as always, put some comments in the chat. And a live stream on our router range would be nice. So maybe we'll have a look at some of that. Okay, well, thank you very much, guys. So thanks from Chris, Lawrence and Dan. Thank you very much,
Thanks
guys.
very much, everyone.
Cheers.